Well, hello everyone. Today I wanted to talk a bit about masks. We'll get to that eventually, but before I delve again into some of the things that come out of my head and share it with the world like I like to do, it's one of the ways that, like I said, this is my therapy, my personal therapy in a lot of ways. And mostly I've been talking about all these different principles, and I think I'd much rather focus on what's happening here and now, because there's so much happening here and now that it's taken over my everything, instead of having all this time and space to focus on philosophy and thought process and what's wrong with the world and all that kind of stuff. So let's take a break from that. We'll get to masks in a second. But first I wanted to just kind of go over how things are going up here. I've actually found that it's very, very much like a home I never knew I had. It's just this magical place. And, if you're not a person like me, you probably look at it and you see, oh, well, there's piles of junk and stuff. And, the yard is full of weeds and everything. But no, I see absolute magic here. Like, those piles of junk all are going to be turned into art when I'm done with them. Not this weekend, but over time. Like, everything I see has a purpose. And just the people here are absolutely like family I never knew I had either. Shantae's twins are just amazing. Like, with most people, they're pretty quiet. No, that's not right. Their names are River and Rain. And they definitely represent their elements, so to speak. They're both very watery, but Rain definitely has to go first, and she blows very quickly, and she always wants to try, talk. And then she, spends all her energy, and then River comes in and is like, all right, now that you're done, I'm kind of interested now that I see that you enjoyed that. Now I want to talk about it. And it's just so fascinating being the balance point between the two and being able to get like the full rainbow between them, and just, it's not just them either. Like, her son Wyvern, who's 8, the kid's just amazing. He's teaching me things about the way energy works that I never even imagined possible. And it's just amazing to have, this little person who claims that he's known these things since he was born, that can just like look at something and say like, oh yeah, this is how that works. And you go, ding, wow, that's always been there. And this 8-year-old walking around with a staff like some freaking wizard just told me exactly how that works in a scientific way, using metaphor, using games, using playing, and it's like, why don't we do that more? I mean, that's how we really learn, is when we play and when we approach everything with a curious mind, and then we use our rational side to pare it down and figure out how it works, and we use our creative side to take that and build it into whatever we want, and that's what it's all about. Like, I'm beginning to see, I think, the world like a wizard. I have these empathic skills, and some people I know poo-poo that whole thing. They don't understand. They hear empathy and they think Betazoids and Star Trek and that whole like, oh, I'm feeling into your soul. Oh, he feels this way. He feels that way. Well, and there is part of that, but it's a synthesis of a lot of different things. It's a lot of different information that my mind processes and my senses process very, very quickly, and then kind of regurgitate that into my brain as this person's feeling this right now, based on what their eyes are doing, what their mouth is doing, the words they're saying, their tonality, and then just a general feel of how they're vibrating, which, it's very difficult to explain to people who don't sense this way. And one of the reasons I sense this way, it's connected to my seizures, is that I'm a synesthetic person. And what synesthesia is a form of sensory overlap. So most people, they think, okay, well, my eyes get light and my ears get sound, and I feel things and I taste with my tongue, etc. There's one other sense in there, I'm sure, but it doesn't matter. But what I do is, like, all of that kind of overlaps for me and flows together. So I taste sounds Everything has a color. Everything has a flavor to me. Everything can then, from those 2 points, go into smells, which then attach to memories and other things, you know. And it's all sort of congealing for me into this almost like matrixy way of seeing the world, but instead of seeing ones and zeros, I'm seeing just pure information when I look at anything. You know, even the way the ground grows, even the way the cracks in the earth are, all lead to these points of energetic intensity. You know, instead of calling them PowerPoints, which sounds, well, it sounds like a bad Microsoft program that's really annoying and we all have to use at work at some point and don't want to. But these points of power, these ley lines, if you will, that are places where energy comes together, which is, you know, what we are too. All those little muscle bindings and connections and things, places that you have pain points, those pressure points, those are places where energy has metastasized. And the same thing is true in the earth. You know, so if you can look at the world like that and see it as a magical being with a synthesis of senses, yeah, you got it. Sounds like the visual from the movie Lucy. You know, what's funny is I've had that visual before that movie came out, so consider that. Tara, woohoo! Oh wow, that echoed really loud. I think I woke all the zombies in the yard. Yeah, so how's everyone else doing? Now that I've kind of explained what I'm doing up here, I've spent most of my time actually with the kids, and it's been really, really healing for me because it's taking me both back to my childhood, especially running around having magical wizard dragon adventures with Wyvern, but also balancing the twins and their energy, and it's just slightly different than the energies that my girls had. You know, the way they express and the way they connect and interact, and who's the first in, last out kind of thing. I had that same thing with my twins, so to see it in another set of twins this young is really quite amazing, you know. And they tell me some really interesting things too, you know, which I'll get into as we go out of the sun and into the darkness and sink into the shadows, because some very strange things have been happening out here too as well, my dears. I would like to share that with you, my coven, my tribe, those who want to hear my voice and feel my words. Sounds very sinister, doesn't it? See, all I did is change my tonality. I'm still just speaking information to you. Doing home improvements, pretty much what I'm doing too. But, you know, my home is here and my home is here as well. You know, green gardening energy. Yeah, we're all about that up here too. You know, so a lot of people are doing this, and we're just kind of like seeding these gardens, you know, with our energy, with our love, with our desire, with our work ethic, you know, with our efforts, you know, which is time and force, will, something. Sorry, I'm not Einstein yet, so I can't do equations quite that fast. But anyway, yeah, so last night, after Wyvern took me around on a tour and was giving me these very interesting things and showing me, you know, specific movements that he felt were energy channeling. And a lot of people will, when kids say that kind of stuff, they just think they're playing or they're, you know, being imaginative. But the funny thing is, if you really pay attention and then you play with what information they're giving you with your, you know, more advanced reasoning skills, you can take their creativity and find some very interesting things that connect to those ley lines, those cracks, those ways that the branches grow, all that kind of stuff, where the water goes. It all means something. It all means something. And if you listen, you can find some very interesting things. So I went out several times last night. And I will say, this hasn't happened in a while, and understand, if you have watched the other videos, you know I'm a very rational and reasonable person, also a very creative person. I am a synthesis of all those things. So when I share things about, like, and say this is what happened, I will let you know if I'm speculating, if it seems out of bounds, or if I'm telling you, no, this happened. And when you feel an electromagnetic pull that shows you exactly, by pulling you, exactly where to go, you don't question it because it's obvious, right? And I can't tell anyone that that's true if you haven't experienced it yourself, but I experienced it quite a lot. It's just not happened for a while because I've been working. and putting 8 hours of my day into leveling up that job, which I'm completely maxed out on. The level cap is like level 10, you know, and I'm already off the map. So let's just say, like, let's agree that that needs to go away, right? And that this is where I need to be. But yeah, so I went out several times myself with my as Wyvern called it, my nature dragon staff, which we named Lifewing. And he showed me some ways to use it and stuff. And really, I just went out to feel and to listen and to be with the stars and to just be silent and such. And, you know, I closed my eyes and felt that energy come in, and it was very much like a tractor beam pull. And it took me around the garden path all the way to this pentacle spot where Shantae meditates every day. That's her special spot. And you can feel energies where people put that energy of meditation and love into, and they express and they connect with the cosmos. If they've been doing it a lot, it's like creating a neural pathway of energy into one spot. So it pulled me out to that spot, you know, even with my eyes closed. And I'm talking, it's not an easy place to get to. There's quite a lot of things that could trip you up. So that was the first time out. Second time, I just got a lot of information. I didn't feel anything quite that way, but I got a lot of information just from observation and sensation. Took that back with me. And each time I brought a lantern with me, and I had this lantern placed right outside my door so I could just reach down and get it, and then put it right outside the door every time I came back. And so on the last time I went outside, reached down, no lantern, right? I looked all over. In the daytime, I wasn't going to wander around out there in the dark because it's slippery and there's lots of junk. But in the daytime, I looked everywhere, you know, looked around my room, looked all over the yard, nothing. Everywhere I thought it would be, it wasn't. And it definitely wasn't where I put it. And then finally, you know, we were about to leave to go on a tour of McMinnville, and I came back to grab my phone or something, and it was sitting right there next to my bed. So anyway, you know, I'm not going to make any assumptions about that, but again, that's not the first time that's happened. And when I say that's not the first time that's happened, I'm saying that it goes from everywhere from, like, you find out that you did it yourself, which is not the case, or that you're just looking at the world from the wrong angle, and if you switch angles, you see it. It's just been hidden by other things that obstruct it, just like when you're looking out into the cosmos. You send a laser out into the cosmos, it starts splitting because there's just little particles of dust out there between you and whatever's out. It should go straight forever. But because there's just, you know, dust every, you know, I don't know, million miles or whatever, it causes it to split. So, I don't know, millions probably exaggerating. I don't know enough about space. You tell me what's in space. So... Anyway, I want to go out there so I can find out what's in space. I just don't just want to fantasize about it. I want to go to space, right? So anyway, yeah, so interesting things happening. And this is only the first night. And I already feel so perfectly at home. Like I told Shantae after that night's sleep, is this spot right here where I laid down. I felt like I was a vampire laying down in my coffin filled with my home soil on it. Like it felt that perfect of a fit, you know. And gosh, all I can say is, like, whoever you are, wherever you are, go find that spot. You know, go out in your yard and feel it out. Go see where all the lines, you know, and this is because I'm an artist, I can see this. I know where the lines are drawing you. Go where the lines of sight, where the light draws you, right? Go out and see everything instead of just like tree, rock, dog shit. That see it as information, see it as communication, and just see what you get, you know, because light is just a wave, right? And waves carry information. It carries, you know, heat from friction. It carries whatever is in there. So go out there in the moon. Go out there in the sun. You know, see what's different. Feel what's different. That said, it looks like we got a nice little crowd. Anyone? We can do some free association. We can do some Who's Line, or we can do some tarot. What do you want to do? Hands up. Show me. because I don't know unless you show me. I don't know that you like this unless you like it. I don't know that you love it unless you love it. So if you want me to keep doing this, pay me in likes and love, right? Oh, that does remind me while I'm waiting to see if anyone's going to put the hand up. Hello, Isaac. Isaac Neat is my amazing cousin, and we are very soon going camping or on a road trip of awesome bonding and discovery and healing. And oh, thank you. Oh, it's like being tossed roses. Yes. And we're juggling again. Yes. Okay. What was I saying? A thing about a thing. Probably. That's because I'm psychic. I know. It was a thing about a thing, right? A thing about a thing? Yeah. See? You know. You can tell. I don't have to explain it, right? So tarot, I lost my train of thought, so forget about it. It's not important. Tarot. That's right. See, you can love me again by unloving me, right? So you can always just give me more love. Like that way you can always participate, and I can have a marker of what I was saying when you guys enjoyed it, right? So like it and unlike it, and then that's our audience participation right there, and you don't have to even talk. You can just hit like and unlike, or love and unlove, and then anytime you like or love something or laugh, then you can just put it out there, and that's how I know what you guys want to talk about, and I'm not just, talking out my ass like a trumpet, right? Okay, so I'm going to do tarot today. Let's see what we get. So on the bottom of the card, and this is what Wyvern pulled today, is the Queen of Cups. Queen of Cups. So Queen of Cups is Pandora, which is, we talked about Pandora the Explorer. Pandora the Explorer is the feminine side, but very androgynous, as you can see, of Pan. And what's the feminine side doing here? Well, she's sitting on a throne. That throne is black. And black represents unknowing. That's why it absorbs all colors, because everything you don't know is in there, right? And she's looking into this cup, and you can see that it has some symbols on it, and those symbols tie into Egyptian symbol communication. And those symbols are connected to eternal life. She's looking into the cup. She looks a little frustrated, trying to figure out what's going on there. And she's got a crown. That crown is like a cup to fill her head with information. And the idea is you want to get Miss Pandora here to turn her head so that she listens to what you have to say, because you want her to know that the answer is not in the cup. It's inside of her, right? Is that enough information so far? All right, let's pull another one and see where this information takes us. Follow the flow of the robe out of the picture, right? And cutting the cards here. Hanged Man. So now that Pandora the Explorer has been filled with information from the cosmos and is looking inside herself, she's transforming herself. You see the T? And the T is made out of what? Nature, right? And then people think, oh, hanged man, well, that's how they killed people back in, what was it? Fascist Italy. And yes, they did. They hung people upside down this way until the blood pressure change killed them. But what does this person look like? He looks to me like an acrobat, a dancer. He's river dancing. Yeah, see? And his legs are fire. His legs are moving, but everything above that is calm and cool and collected, the blue, right? Inside, he's full of enlightenment, right? Behind him is gray, neutral, right? And he might be standing, but he could be laying down. See, you got to see it from all perspectives. All right, so that's the number 12. So we got Queen of Pentacles, and we have a number 12 trump. So that is our wild card. Let's see what our hand is today. All right, just in case people want me to shuffle, I'm going to shuffle, just to show that I'm not setting this up ahead of time, And I'm not good at this. I could go with these two, right? But I'm not going to. Ouch. Shit. See, I'm not good at shuffling. That's why I just like to cut the cards. Because it's just as random to me. All right, here we go. Bam. Oh, an upside down juggler. Number 2. Number 2. And he's juggling infinity. You see that? He's flowing 2 pentacles. The pentacles, if I explained this before, the 5-pointed star that we all drew as kids and know by heart how to draw, that represents man, right? You're a 5-pointed star. You're a star seed. Yeah? Get it? And pentacles represent solidity. So your solid energy made out of 5 points, head, left, right arm, left, right foot. Starting to connect yet? Okay. All right. And let's flip him over so we can see him better. Although you can do reversals, so I'm going to keep it simple. All right. And he looks like a bit of a dick, don't you think? Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, hey, hey. But, you know, he knows what he's doing. He's got all the fire, you know, but those people who are super fiery, they do kind of look like dicks, don't they? They're a little peacocky, right? So we got to remember that. If we get too peacocky, then we start to look like a dick. But what we really want to do when we're being peacocky is we want to show people, look, I am a poet, warrior, bard, just like you, and my heart craves for adventure. Come with me. Be inspired by the fire that I am showing through my actions. And my feet are green, so I am in touch with the earth. Right? Okay, so we have a queen, we have a 2, a deuce, and we have a trump, a wild card, joker, you could say, because they're all jokers, they're all fools. Okay, and another one. Where? Ha, 7. 7, 7, 7. All right. I like to look at this guy as a giant, you know, kind of like the Jolly Green Giant. So you got 7 stars there, and he's over there, this giant is over there watching the 7 stars grow. And he seeded that garden. He's aware of it. His arms are blue. His legs are blue, so that means he's at rest. He's calm there. His fire is in his chest. It's purple down at the bottom. Purple being a color of mystical import, because purple is, along with blue, the newest emerging color in our color palette, evolutionarily speaking. Okay, so I've got a 2, I've got a 7. I've got not much of a hand at all. Let's see if we can make it into at least a 3 of a kind somehow. See, all the cards are right there. And ha. And we get another wild card, and that gives us 3 queens. The Hierophants. This is a good one, right? Lots of symbols here. Oh, God, I could spend all day on this. And I'm not going to. If you want more information, go look at the picture yourself. See what comes up, right? Okay, so think of this as the brain, right? You have the face, the mask, as we were talking about, right? The part that speaks, the voice, which is why this is 5, this is V, okay? And then you have the 2 eyes, or the 2 hemispheres of the brain, or 1 individual and 2 servants. And you see, on one side you have a Y chromosome, and on the other side you have a, well, you would think it's a Y, right? Or maybe they're both X's. There's an X in the middle, too. 2 keys. One's in front of the other. Well, and you see these servants here. They each serve something, right? So you have white on one side, a flower, okay? That represents nature, again, blossoming. And that flower's closed, and white represents innocence, but also knowledge. And on the other side, you have red roses, which represent, the red represents passion. So passion and innocence. So your left and right sides each has an expression, and one is more passionate and one is more innocent. And I would say your creative side is more passionate, you know, while your intellectual side is more innocent and seeks to know, right? It has a more black and white way of looking at things. Make sense? So I'll start you off there. But go find the card for yourself and see what else comes up, because there's way, way more, right? You got 3 chakras going on right in the middle there, right? That's what happens when you get crosses all stuck in you. You get chakras, right? So that's a little clue for you too. Right? All right, done. 3 queens, 3 of a kind. Anyone beat that hand? No? All right. So again, the reason why I'm pulling up tarot, because I'm all about providing the scientific principles behind these things, is an advanced form of Rorschach testing. Right? And it allows you to dialectically and through picture messages access different memories in your brain that then help bring out different aspects of personality and information about personality that you've already been exposed to, but you've absorbed, but it hasn't taken, right? And so the cards help you psychologically bring up old problems or find out, you know, a simple way is to just go through the deck and say, what card most feels like how I think I am? You know, just start from there. Just start from who do I think I am? Because that's what they're supposed to be, is like mirrors, right? And so when we take that back into HARC therapy, or hollow arc, whatever you want to call it, holographic archetype therapy, which is what I'm teaching. You do that same thing. It's a much more advanced version of that. Instead of just looking at a card and a picture and figuring out the message and connecting the dots, you do that, but you do that with archetypes. You do it with characters. You do it with superheroes. You know, you go, okay, who do I feel like? Who are my favorite? Pick my 3 favorite superheroes. Like right now at this moment. I'm not gonna like pre-guess it. I'm just, the ones coming to me are Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. Now those aren't my favorite if you really asked me, but those are the images I had in my mind when I said it. You know, so we start from that. Well, what's Batman? He's Bruce Wayne. He wants to save the world, but he's kind of going about it in the wrong way by trying to do it one person at a time, you know, punching people on the streets, not really solving any situations, not really stopping crime enough. So he has to go dig deep into his inner self and find this dark persona and bring it out in a way that's heroic. And that's what I do, is I went deep into my dark persona and found those things through tarot and through, you know, these processes, found these things about myself that I was like, oh God, that's why I'm afraid of that. You know, that's why I'm afraid of bats. Or that's why I'm afraid of bats. Robin, don't tell anyone. I'm afraid of bats. I'm not afraid of bats. I have one on my head. I don't know if you can see. Like that's like a birthmark. That's just how my hair grows. See? But that tells you something too. That's a piece of information again, right? So that's how it works. You know, I'm not going to dig in. Well, Spider-Man, you know, Spider-Man, he's a, no, I won't do it. I won't do it right now. I gave you the hint. You do it yourself. Don't let me tell you. Go experiment with it and see what happens. Find out who your Batman is. Find out how you're Bruce Wayne. Like literally, I'm Bruce Wayne and Tony Stark together, but without resources. You know, and so that's all I'm looking for, resources. And the funny thing is, I do have access to resources, but I have to go drive around to go talk to people to go get the access to the resources I already have, and I don't have the money to go make the drive to go get the access to the. Doesn't that just like, you know, doesn't that like sum up life? Like I don't have the resources to go get the resources. Like whether it's you're talking about your energy levels or you're talking about just money, you know, and that's how I felt working, you know. I didn't have the energy to go do the things that I needed to do. And now that I have the space and I have the time to be myself, I'm actually spending time with children and listening to children and playing with children and going out and having adventures like a child again, going out and just like, you know, taking a stick and hitting weeds. You know, I love that. I love that. You know, it's like, it's a safe way to be off with your heads and get out all that old medieval angsty bullshit. You know, so anyway, that's my day. If you're just joining or joined late, you know, I do hope you go back and watch the whole thing. Russell, one of my favorite fellow knights. We've been through so many battles together. Oh, I can't wait until the lap of my journey that takes me back out to Idaho, because I got so much to tell you about what's going on. But go back and watch this one. Go back and watch all of them, because there's a progression. I started off in the beginning. I can't remember what date, but I'm sure you'll find out. It's all time-stamped. When I was sent home and put on medical leave for having 2 seizures in 3 days, I believe it was. And my doctor was like, just tell me how much time you need. The problem is, like, that's not paid leave. You know, even though the other option is if they don't pay me to leave, I die and they lose that resource and they don't give a fuck. So fuck them, right? No, I don't mean the people. Like, I love all the people. I'm talking about the company which has become the person, right? It's a dragon that swallowed a bunch of people, and the people are just like, well, this is fine. I'll just keep living in this acid belly. Oh, here comes the fire. Yeah, and it's just happening all the time, right? Kelly Hicks, what's my purpose? My purpose is to be me the most I can, to find out the most things by direct experience and by interviewing and listening to people, to learn everything I can about every tribe on the planet, to learn everything. And I include animals with that. But I know people better, so I want to start with them, because animals are just alien to me, but I love them. And I want to heal as many people as possible with my presence, just by explaining things to them. And to show people that you can be a character, you can be many characters, because that takes it back to masks. That was originally the topic. Thank you, because that wound me back down to the original purpose. We talk about masks. So what are archetypes? They're masks. What do superheroes do? They wear masks. What do human beings do? We wear masks. How do we do that? We go to work and we have to put on the work mask. We have to act a certain way as our coworkers expect, and that's different depending on which place you go. It's going to be different if you're in the if you're on the cook line at Burger King than if you're sitting in a cubicle, or if you're out in the woods felling trees. You're still putting on the mask of expectation in order to blend to some degree with your peers, and that's what tribalism is all about. And what happens is, through those masks and through that interaction, you begin to specialize and create special language around your specialty. And if you do that long enough, you lose the ability to communicate with people outside the tribe. And I see that happening a lot. So what do? I go into tribes. I get invited into their secret societies. I do this over and over and over again, because I treat all people equal and with love that is unconditional and has no ownership to it at all. And I allow people to be them and be who they are and figure things out for themselves, and give them the information that they're looking for, if I have it. And every place I go, I have a piece of information from someone else. So work is one mask. We wear another mask with our children. We wear a different mask if it's someone else's children. And then we wear another mask with our parents. And then we wear another mask with our friends, another one with our lovers. And the ones we wear with our lovers are different depending on the lover and who they are, because the deeper you go, the more intimate you become, the deeper you dig, and the more masks that you find that you can wear and be comfortable with. And through that process, I have found all these different masks within myself, and I'm just going I'm just going to fucking bring them out. Why keep them inside when I could just wear them outside and people can see who I really am, right? And by getting up here on the stage, on my soapbox every night for myself as therapy to bring out those things that are trapped or suppressed, I'm hoping that I can be a mirror for everyone else out there too, who's afraid of that. Who's afraid to get up in front of the camera, afraid for people to see who they are without the mask, even though you always have this. Here's another piece of information. Look at this, not as a person. Look at this as just a bunch of lines and shapes. Look at it upside down. Because really, there's nothing different from this than this. It's the same stuff. I just have more control over it that happens involuntarily, automatically, without, with me unaware of it. So become aware of it. Look at your face. Look at your face and see what it tells you. What's the message? Because you don't see it unless you look in the mirror, right? And if you don't look in the mirror, what happens? You become a vampire because you can't see your reflection, right? And that's how you get energy vampires, people who can't look in the mirror anymore, right? Good old personas. Ah, yes. Well, talk to me afterwards, Kelly. I could tell you some stories, honey. Because what are we but chimeric beings, right? We have all these personae inside of us, and yeah, if you suppress them, then eventually the others that get quite large from what you're feeding them, they'll make a play to try and take over, and that's an experience that is like possession, right? Even with the whole body, almost electrocution thing, I've experienced that, and that's when you have to integrate or die. You integrate or you lose control, right? And I chose to integrate. And here I am, being my chimeric self outside of the box, out on the stage, not caring if anyone shows, but if people want to come and they want to show me, yeah, I like what you're saying, or I love what you're saying, then do that. If not, that's okay, because it's still therapy for me. I'm still bringing all these things out. It's no different for me than if I was just, sitting in the bathroom or in my dressing room, practicing voices or whatever. It's the same thing. What is voice but just very complex vibration, right? So the complex spells, right? There's a reason that word is used, right? Exactly. Yes. Much love, Karen. Oh, God, if you could come up here. You would be so in love with this place, and the energy's up here. Like everything you want to experience, I think, is up here. Anyway, and Tara's coming this weekend too, so she can tell you all about it. I don't know what that was. Whoa, that was like Italian or something. I may have to go somewhere quiet and speak Latin in the dark for a while. So with that said, apparently I'm being called by someone Italian. All right, I'll be back. No, and that is me acting. I'm not. That's not electromagnetic. All right, shush, 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 shush. That's what I'm being told. Shush, 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 shush. All right.